What's up YouTube? In this video, I drill a hole in this really cool skull bottle using a regular wood drill bit. Now, before we get started, I'd like to ask for you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and click the bell so you can be the first to know about all of my brand new videos. Let's begin. So, my roommate wanted a hole drilled through this glass bottle because she was making a LED lamp for her boyfriend. The biggest worry about drilling through glass is having it crack. This usually happens for two reasons. One, because of too much physical force, or two, because during the cutting process the glass heats up to two different temperatures and it cracks. So to prevent these from happening, my plan was to create somewhat of a reservoir around the hole that I could fill with cool water. So I came up with the idea to use a hot glue gun to build this reservoir. So first things first, I plugged in my glue gun to warm it up. Next, because my roommate wanted the hole at the back of this bottle, I had to secure it to my workstation. If I had a vise and some foam pieces, this would have been much more ideal, but instead I just clamped some 2x4s like so, and this did the trick. Next, now that the glue gun was heated up, in layers I began gluing a wall around the area I was going to drill the hole. After each layer, I just let it dry before applying the next one. Then, once I was satisfied with the height of my glue walls, I got some cold water. I even added some ice, just to keep it as cold as possible. Then I poured it into the reservoir like so. The drill bit I chose was wide enough for an LED light strip that my roommate had specified to fit through. Ideally, an actual glass cutting drill bit would have gotten this job done a lot faster and a lot less risky. But this video is about how to drill with just a regular drill bit for wood. I then just began drilling, slowly, very slowly, trying to keep the bit in the same place. The most difficult part was right at the beginning until the hole was big enough for the bit to stay in without wobbling all over the place. The main strategy to this is not putting too much pressure on the glass. It's easy to get impatient and start pushing harder, but as I mentioned before, too much physical pressure will end up cracking this glass. As I drilled, I just kept replacing the water to ensure this area of glass stayed cool, because with the friction from the drill, the glass and water will heat up. As I drilled, I noticed that the water started leaking, so as that happened, I just added more glue. This happened a couple times, but eventually the hole I drilled was big enough to hold its own water, so I just removed the glue wall. And I just kept going, keeping close attention to how close I was coming to putting it all the way through. Eventually, I felt a little break. And this is the most fragile, dangerous part of this whole project. This is where a proper drill bit really comes into play, because even though I was so careful the whole time, I ended up cracking the glass a little bit, shamefully. Simply because once the bit was through the inside just a little bit, the smallest little turn of the drill has so much friction that the actual physical force of it turning cracked the glass. But as you can see, I successfully drilled a hole through this thick glass with just a tiny little crack. And this is what it looked like in the end. If you liked this video, click on to this next one. Thanks so much for watching.